To the cranium of Hardcore Holly. Oh, big side kick by D'Lo Brown, setting him up for the front. No, wait a minute. D'Lo's legendary leg drop. Boom! You saw it, wrestling fans. 1, 2, oh! Hardcore Holly has enough to kick out.
Oh, what would you call that move?
Started out back in '96. I tried out from a promoter for PLW in Slater Park, and I severely separated my shoulder, causing me to have a acromioclavicular separation, which requires surgery now. That was 3 years ago. That was my first injury. Other injuries other than that, I've bitten into my tongue a couple times, chipped a tooth. No broken bones. I've been lucky enough with that. A lot of bumps and bruises. That's about it.
Oh, you horrible people of Seacon! It's time to make some noise! For the dancing machine! Stop! Stop! Her right there! You! She got $1. Want to see this man dance? You want to see him dance? Get your dollar bills ready, lady! Because here we go! Shake it, baby! Shake it and don't stop! Hey, hey,
One of my friends worked for an agency and he worked with somebody in a house out in Foxborough, I believe it was. Ran into a guy who ran his own independent. Turned out it was PLW. Got me in touch with him. I did the tryout, separated my shoulder, and about 3 weeks later I had my first shot with them and on the show, and then it's just kind of gone from there.
She's sexually frustrated in this show. It's terrible. It's terrible. Baby, don't give it to her. She doesn't deserve it.
The crowd is a little bit riled up tonight.
Gimmick to real-life personality is complete no joke. One night me and my friends were over at my house watching wrestling, and a female friend of mine called, and they constantly made jokes about the way and the difference that I talked to them on the phone. And so they said Don Juan in the other room, so we just came up with it that way. Juan DeSanto.
Hey! Hey, watch out! Easy! Come on!
My God, I tell you what, I'll buy you the crack pipes.
Oh my God! This is gonna!
I generally try to stay friendly with everybody. I haven't really had any backstage heat with people for the most part. There are a couple people that just are ridiculous in the back locker room. They just take things way too seriously, and then there are some people that are generally just pains in the butts, and you tend to stay away from it. You learn being in the locker room who you can and can't trust, who you can and can't talk to. 10 years ago, it was the age of the superhero. As time progressed on, size didn't matter. Now it seems like somewhat it's gotten back to semi-size, but I think that more conditioning and ability in ring have more to do with it now than anything else, and a lot more today than it was then. Charisma. You had a lot of guys back 10 years ago that didn't do much talking, and they were still over, as they say. And nowadays, people who can't wrestle can still be over by the way they talk and their charisma.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, the #1 wrestling talk show in New England. I am here with dancing Don Juan DeSanto tonight here in Revere, Massachusetts.
What's up, Joe? Long time no see, man.
Yeah. Well, tonight we had the Wonderland Dog Track. It's a great organization here. They're as hardcore as it gets. They've got the technical wrestling, the light heavyweight wrestling, whatever kind of wrestling you need. Come down, Primal Conflict Wrestling. And you had an excellent match with Dave Padula. Your comments?
Well, I wouldn't call it excellent. I think there was something a little shady with that match. I don't know if Primal did a little something behind Don Juan's back. I mean, whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter as long as they go out there and entertain people, which, all that matters in this business is entertaining. It's not winning, losing, getting a belt or anything like that. So, I'll continue to work for Primal. I don't mind, but when it's shady or when something doesn't seem right, that's when Don Juan kind of gets a little skeptical.
A lot of independents going around now. What are your future plans for all of the independents overall?
I work a lot. I'm up and down the East Coast. I go down to Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I'm working a lot of places. Frankly, I don't have time to work for everybody when they want me, but I do my best to try to make sure I can get wherever the fans may see me dance.
And let me just ask a couple questions for the fans who didn't catch you on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling when you were back in the studio about a year ago. How long have you been in the wrestling business, and who's your toughest opponent been over the span of your career?
Well, I've been in the business for 3 years. I got in September '96, so it's actually coming up on 4. My toughest opponent, well, every opponent's tough if you don't know how to deal with them or you're not ready for them, but I'd have to say most likely my toughest opponent over the course of the last 3 years definitely has to be Dave Padula. I have yet to beat that man. I'll figure out how to do it sometime.
And what would you say your greatest accomplishment has been thus far, and do you have a certain goal out there that you want to accomplish before you leave someday the wrestling world?
My greatest accomplishment to date is being successful, whether I win or lose, in and out of the ring. What would I like to do? I'd like to touch people, make sure people remember who I am, where I came from, and that, hey, I remember that fat bastard, I saw him wrestle. He's pretty decent. He made me laugh. He made me entertained. That's pretty much all I really want to do.
Well, wrestling fans, if you want to see the greats of the independent wrestling, if you want to see dancing Don Juan DeSanto, come out to the independent shows, whether it's the HWF, Primal Conflict Wrestling, Yankee Pro Wrestling, SCCW. It really doesn't matter. There's a lot of great organizations out there. And wrestling fans, we will see you at the matches.
And remember, people, keep watching Joe's Hardcore Cable Show. It's pretty damn good. A lot of people want to say that the independents are the future of wrestling. It's hard to say. I mean, some are, some aren't. You just got to know which ones are, and I mean, a lot of people get their starts there. I know that Spike Dudley got his start in the Rhode Island Independents, then went out to California. Look where he is today. I mean, he's in one of the big three. He's a major star. A lot of people know who he is. It all depends, and it all depends on how willing you are to work and train and do what it takes and put up with the physical demands that wrestling puts on you. I've wrestled all over pretty much New England. I've gone down as far as Maryland. I've wrestled in Maryland, New Jersey, I'm going to be wrestling in Pennsylvania coming up, Maine. Never wrestled in like Vermont or New Hampshire, but wrestled in a couple places in Mass, Rhode Island, all over the place. So pretty much local, but I'm starting to get more down the East Coast a little bit. So. I've held PLW Tag Team Champions. I'm currently the PLW World Heavyweight Champion. I've held the IWA Tag Team Champions, the UCW Tag Team Championship. Those are the titles that I've held so far.
What's wrong with you? You won the match! Choking me! Don't be pushing me! You push me! You know? I'm gonna give you one of these! Oh, come on! Oh, baby! We love you, Steve!
Real life injuries. Oh boy. Let's see. The first significant one didn't really happen until May. No, that's not true. The first significant one was probably the first level 1 concussion. That would be, let's see, there's been so many. That would be February of this year. That sounds good. We'll go with that. May of this year, I broke, thank you, broke 2 ribs. And I actually had pretty good luck, because that was, I think when I just did my matches out, that was like match number 60 or so out of like 85 now, so I lasted a while there, all right. Then I got a second level 1 concussion in August of this year for Tony Atlas up in Maine. Other than that, nothing too significant that I can really cry about. Screwed my neck pretty good a couple weeks ago. I had to have that checked out still. That could be career injuring. Other than that, everything's perfect.
Wrestling fans, welcome to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show. I'm your host, Hardcore Joe, here in the #1 wrestling talk show in New England. It is Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, and I am here with none other than Dr. Heresy.
200 IQ mind, 200-pound body, double tough, double rough, physically fit, psychologically sound, and last but not least, mentally profound. The man, the myth, the legend of New England independence. And after the show's over, when all you viewers sitting at home, you know damn well you're going to say it loud and say it proud. That's right, it's me, Dr. Heresy.
And Dr. Heresy, your man, Juan DeSanto, was victorious at the last Hardcore Wrestling Federation show. If you remember back, it was a triple threat match. Shane Simons.
That's because I was in his corner.
Absolutely. Prince Ivan Zangveen, and of course, Juan DeSanto. Dancing Don Juan was victorious. But wait a minute now, maybe a few minutes ago, you, was that accidentally, or was this purposely? You turned on Dancing Don Juan.
Yeah, it was accidentally, Joe. I slipped, I fell, I hit him in the back with a chair, you know, and then I had sat in the chair that was on his throat, and it was like a bad dream. Now, let me tell you something. For the past year of my life, I've dedicated a lot of time to Juan DeSanto. From West Virginia to Maine. That guy he doesn't even drive, he's so lazy. I've driven him all around. I've been his tag team partner. My back is sore from carrying him around. Now, business is business. I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, bridges can't be mended or anything, but this is my time right now. And what I did out there, I did it for me. I did it because after 3 months of being out with a concussion, do you think he gave a damn? Yeah, I could be out there and I could be his manager, and you know, I could help him succeed and everything, but I was always in the back shadow. He wanted to go out there and dance. He wanted to make a little name for himself. Who the hell wants to see a fat guy strip anyway? I sure as hell don't. So let me tell you something. That's an embarrassment. That's what he is. I've totally disassociated from him. I'm so upset I can't even talk correctly. I've disassociated myself from him. I have nothing more to do with him. Like I said, I can't promise it's gonna be forever. But right now, Dr. Heresy's his own man. Juan DeSanto found that out the hard way.
And wrestling fans, we will continue to tape, be backstage behind all the independent wrestling shows, see what it involves here with Dr. Heresy and Dancing Don Juan. Wrestling fans, we will see you at the matches.
Now this camera's not really going to shift, but let's just all visualize it. Juan DeSanto still sitting over there. He gotten involved as John 316 in Power League Wrestling, and he already had one manager, but of course everybody had to get involved, so he ended up having 2. That would be me, and came in with no training. Not a way that I advocate to do, especially not nowadays. Wrestling's gotten so popular and there's such a proliferation of backyard leagues and kids doing things that are going to hurt themselves for the rest of their life. And it's honestly just not worth it. It was a little bit smaller back in the day, but it still wasn't a good way to get in. Didn't really understand it then, but I do now. The more independence that we get out into and the larger names that we make for ourselves, the harder it is if you have people wrestling under the auspices at the pros who turn fans away from independent wrestling because of the show that they put on. A good friend of mine gave me an analogy that kind of brings this story fairly clear, I think. And that, say you went to a haunted house one year for Halloween, and you waited for 3 hours in line, you paid $10 to get in. You got into this haunted house, and it sucked. There was one pumpkin there. That was it. You went outside. Now, of course, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel like, you know, I'm never going to spend 3 hours in line for a haunted house again. I'm never going to go to another haunted house, period. Next year, there's a haunted house. It might be great, but chances are you're probably not going to take the chance of getting in line again to find out. So, you know, fans, I think, tend to discriminate between WWF, WCW, ECW, and then other stuff. They have one bad experience or two bad experiences with other stuff. They're probably not going to go back again. So, I mean, backyarders, everything that's great. They want to do it in their own time. Hopefully they keep it in their backyard. Don't promote in buildings that real federations run in. Don't promote yourself as a real federation. Anybody can get a ring nowadays. You're only hurting yourself in the future if you end up going pro and getting into bigger entities and you wonder why the crowds aren't as big as you seem to remember them being. Because I really think you're undermining yourself at this time. Just be careful. Everything you do affects things down the road. I don't advocate anyone getting involved the way that both of us did. Get trained. You know, have your own fun in your own time. Don't hurt the sport that you might need down the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with members of Power League Wrestling, the tag team champions, Juan DeSanto, the veteran, maniacal Mark, and let me try to get this right, Dr. Heresy, your Samoan.
He got all three. This is a momentous occasion, ladies and gentlemen. Our ring announcer here got all three names correct.
That's right. I'm Mike Messier. Ladies, we're in this makeshift ring. Is this where you guys practice or what? Is this where you practice?
You idiot. It's a prop, you moron.
All right. Let me ask you this.
Slam me down here if you want me to.
Oh, that's all right.
Come on.
You've got a tag team title defense tonight. Who are your opponents?
I think we're wrestling the Puppies of Power.
Somebody we beat, I know that. Somebody we beat.
Many times. Twice.
They're wrestling the Pillars of Power team. They've beaten twice.
Actually, I'm sorry. They're three-time losers. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You beat them twice. Why a third time?
I don't know. There's nobody else, really. Who else are they going to put in there?
Maybe a team like Shane Simons, Lethal Paul is on.
Stop. That is not a team. Mr. Personality and frickin' Lethal Breath Mint Lazan? Please. They're no challenge. One of them's out because he hurt his little groin. What a frickin' wussy, okay? If he was a real man, he'd get in here and he'd frickin' wrestle hurt. That's all I gotta say about those two, okay?
Hey, Mr. Expert Interviewer, let me ask you a question. How many matches have they wrestled and won?
I believe they haven't yet wrestled as a team yet.
The answer, 0, right?
Good point.
0. Zero matches get you 0 title shots. So when they come back and win a match, then they can have a title shot.
But they're such established solo stars. I mean, don't they deserve a title match just based on their solo successes?
No.
They're like a dream team, like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Like, anywhere they would go.
Wait a minute.
One of them's dead. That sums up Lethal Paul Lazan, and the other one just can't work anything. That'd be Shane?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Harrison, you've been quiet, unusually quiet. What's going on through your 200 IQ mind?
What I want to say right now is that this is the most formidable tag team in PLW history. You know, everyone wants to say that they're in shape, that they have six-pack abs. Well, this man's got the whole 30-pack. Just look at him.
30, baby.
This guy,
30!
He's more savage than that Slim Jim guy. Everybody fears Maniacal Mark. And they're also two of my very best friends, so what else can I say?
15.
All right, let me ask you this. You've had these titles for quite some time now. You've defended them against all the top contenders. There's only one question. What's next? What is next?
What is next? What do you think's next? We're going to beat whoever else we have to face. We'll beat the Pillars again. We'll beat your lethal breath mint guys, Lethal Eagles. Yeah, we'll beat them too.
Don't forget the Knights of Columbus.
The Knights of Columbus, we'll beat them again. You want to throw anybody else? Brutal Bob, we got some unfinished business with Brutal Bob. He wants to come back and grab a partner. We'll whoop his butt. We'll whoop Jay's butt if he wants to get a partner. We'll whoop anybody who comes up against us because we are, what are we? We're the World Tag Team Champions.
All right, I think that's about enough.
Wait a minute.
but that's all the time we get?
Well, what else do you have to say?
Tag team champions.
We get as much time as we want. I'm the Samoan and Latvian champion.
All right, well...
He's the Samoan Latvian champion. We're the world tag team champions. We get as much time as we...
All right, let me ask you this. On our last program, we talked about the possibility of you two putting the belts on the side and wrestling an exhibition match.
I saw that. What you talked about was us putting the belts aside and wrestling each other. We have no need to wrestle each other. We have no desire to wrestle each other. Therefore, we're not wrestling each other. How's that?
That'd be like,
I think that sums it up,
that'd
right?
be like you getting in the ring with friggin' Smudge Baby, man. That's just not happening.
Wow.
Just ain't gonna happen.
Ridiculous. I gotta go.
We got more important things to do. We gotta go beat up them frickin' pillars again. Jesus. Even though this is getting pretty repetitious, I'm sick and tired of having to beat them. So let's
just remember, we're great. You suck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for the interview. We're going to wrap it up and get back to the ring. Thank you.
If you go to a federation, like we watched a Jersey All Pro show, what was it, 2 weeks ago, and the fans there tended to be conditioned to pop for certain things like chair shots and blood and things like that. Most indie shows, if they're regular fans, indie work tends to be more late 80s style, where there's more crowd work involved, and the pacing is slower than the 3-minute cardiovascular workouts that go on right now in WCW and WWF, so they might pop for more traditional psychology in matches. And obviously in WWF they pop for, or WCW now, interviews, people themselves, or certain spots in the match. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
That's right, it's me, Dr. Heresy. As you can see, my nose has seen better days. That's because Juan DeSanto was running that. Today, sexy, Sandy Star. That'll have something to do with this. That's okay. That's it. I'm still a doctor anymore. Now then, if I can count correctly, I've beaten this badass. Even I can't count that high, so it really doesn't matter. So, it was another day for the doctor, another victory as usual. I defeat a fat boy and his mistress. Every time once more, I'll be obligated to provide. That's my role here. My nose is still crooked, so I encourage you all, watch Joe's Hardcore Wrestling. I know I did, and believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Have a good night.
How the fancy the independents? Well, I think it depends on, going back to what I said before about their people. I think really casual fans aren't vested enough and not interested enough in wrestling to discriminate each and every federation differently, and especially because a lot of indie feds do promote pretty much the same way with the same posters and billboards and everything. So you see, big time wrestling coming to town, blah blah blah. So they have the big three, then after that they have the other stuff. It depends really on their experiences. If they've seen a couple bad shows, they probably don't think too much of the other stuff. But independent wrestling does have a lot of fans. There are some pretty notable independent federations. Yankees done a great job of building up a very solid fan base just in their area. Unfortunately, they don't have much exposure nationwide. Like Jersey All Pro, pretty much everyone has heard of that. APW in California started a lot of guys off. NWA is having a resurgence of the independents. I mean, there's the good and the bad. It just depends. When we started off, he was John 316, DeSanto was. So I was his clinical consultant, so we've got the doctor part from that. Heresy means to stand in opposition to commonly held truths. So it thought kind of like someone to rile the crowd up to run them down, to stand in like stark contrast to what they liked. That's why we went with that. Where it is now, I mean, half the time I heel, half the time I face. So hopefully I'm not that bipolar in real life. Maybe, I don't know.
God, how I got into the business, man. In the past, present, and future, I've had many trainers. A lot of people have trained me, have taken me under their wing and worked with me. Guys like Brian Walsh, Maverick Wild, Bob Evans, Kyle Matt Storm. Oh, God. Jeff Costa. I mean, the list goes on and on. Jose Perez, Altitude. List goes on and on and on. But first and foremost, I've been a wrestling fan. I'll tell you the baby stories when I was 3 years old, and my grandfather had me on his shoulders, and I watched guys like Superstar Billy Graham, the late great Gorilla Monsoon, man, and God, all the greats, Polish Power, Ivan Putski, guys I really looked up to. But, you know, I have to agree with a man named Bert Santino when he said Mil Mascaras, because he was a guy that definitely was a big influence on me. Love the mask, you know. That mask always had a smile on its face. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to get serious now. But anyway, yeah, definitely guys like Mil Mascaras, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, you know, guys I really looked up to in the wrestling business. And I always wanted to get in. I went through this person and that person and that person. I started off untrained, believe that or not, wrestling for Power League Wrestling. And then finally, Jose Perez called me up and wanted to train me. And so I trained, worked out with him, and I went through him to guys like Bob Evans, to Jeff Costa, to Matt and Kyle Storm. And I trained, I worked out for many years, and when I was ready, I got in the ring. And my first professional matchup, I got a victory over Brutal Bob Evans, which is a big thing because he's respected all over the independent industry. And I've been in the ring with guys like Brian Walsh. I mean, I've been in the ring with guys like legendary Robbie Ellis and Vertebreaker. You know, I've been in the ring with guys like Mr. Biggs, like Troubleman. You know, guys are really respecting the business, and you really training. Training is what it's all about. Make sure you go get a proper trainer. You know, one well respected in the wrestling business, and train, because you can never get enough training and you can never learn enough in this business.
It's Hardcore Joe here, wrestling fans, on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, the #1 wrestling talk show in New England, and I am here with none other than, well, he doesn't even have to be introduced. All you wrestling fans have seen him on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling before. He is old school Derek Destiny.
You bet I am, Joe. And yes, I do need no introduction. Unfortunately, you do, pal. When you go around the world, when you go down to Philly, when you go down to New Zealand, but everybody in New Zealand knows who Derek Destiny is. Hi, matey. Hi. See, you know my New Zealand accent? You like it?
Absolutely. Well, anyways, big match. Just got off a big match a few minutes ago. You one-on-one with Robbie Ellis. Your comments on that match, how you thought of it?
Well, I should have won, but as you can clearly see, he did grab the tights. But Robbie Ellis, we are not even close to being done yet, pal. There are many more matches to come, many more matches that I, Derek Destiny, will win. And you know that, Joe. And you know on your next show, whatever it is, whoever you put in front of me, whoever that Martor idiot decides to get, or unless he's chicken, and you know chicken what, I can't say right now because there's little kids walking by, and since I am a very intellectual man, I don't need to swear to get my point across. But anyway, Martor man, next show, whatever Joe decides to run another show, if you are not chicken enough to accept the challenge, it'll be me and you, pal. But if you can't, and I understand your fears of getting beaten, fears of getting overmatched, should I say, fears of, well, you've never been in a ring other than that Battle Royal, chop shop, may I add. But anyway, Martor man, if you do not want to accept the challenge for fear, and you're a fearful little boy, then you can pick anybody you want to come face me. I don't care where they've been. I don't care how big they are, how small they are, how short they are, how fat they are. And by the way, Joe, you seem to have added a couple pounds, but we won't get into that. So, Martor man, the challenge is up to you. If you're willing to accept, well, without a doubt, I will be there. And I will be in the main event.
Well, wrestling fans, as you heard it, Derek Destiny will be there. And if you were wondering when this will be, it will be Friday, August 25th, 7 o'clock bell time, returning to the American Legion Post number 311, Seekonk, Massachusetts. It's the HWF, the Hardcore Wrestling Federation. It's Wrestle Riot, presented by Hardcore Joe. And Derek Destiny will be there. The Martor man will be there. The big question is, will the Martor man have the guts to take on Derek Destiny?
You know the answer to that one, Joe. Everybody in the TV viewing audience knows the answer to that one. He will not show up because he's scared of what will happen to him. Scared of being stretched. Scared of being beaten so badly his mama won't even recognize him. Well, his mother can't recognize him anyway, but so bad, Martor man. You be a smart man not to accept the challenge and bring somebody else who you know, maybe a schoolyard buddy, maybe Joe Bruin, maybe a grandmother, maybe a pet dog. It doesn't matter, because Derek Destiny will destroy anything you got and you put in my way. Anything, anybody, anyone, any creature, anybody. Hey, you can have the mic back, pal.
Well, wrestling fans, if that's not a good enough reason, I don't know what is. The Hardcore Wrestling Federation Wrestle Riot, Friday, August 25th, Seekonk, Massachusetts, the American Legion Post number 311. Wrestling fans, we will see you at the matches.
Years as pro. I've been 3 years wrestling as pro, and love it, enjoy it, you know. Finest 3 years of my life, you know. Met a lot of really cool people, been in the ring with a lot of great athletes, learned a lot in those 3 years, and just keep learning as I go along.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show. I am here with Derek Destiny, old school Derek Destiny, and tonight...
Old school, that's right, old school. I'm old school. Do you understand that? Federations, organizations, I am old school. Take this, take this. I'm visibly upset right now.
Well, tonight, Derek Destiny, you are in a bamboo stick death match, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen here?
Nothing, I'm not getting hit with that. I am not going in there with those crazy vertebraker Max the Butcher. Yeah, right. You probably have a cleaver, man. I don't know, man. I'm very upset, visibly upset, man. I don't want to get whacked in one of those things, man. I want to do a top wrist lock. I want to do a figure four leg lock. I want to do the Texas Cloverleaf. I don't want to get hit with one of those things. You really hurt, man.
Well, this is Primal Conflict Wrestling. Anything could happen here at the Wonderland Dog Track.
When they booked me, they said, you're going to have a great match, a great old school three-way dance match. But they didn't tell me bamboo sticks. Oh.
Well, I don't know. Max the Butcher Brannigan, Derek Destiny, and the Vertebreaker. It's a three-way dance.
The size of that guy, too. I mean, really, man. He looks like some Mongolian, Mongoloid, you know what I mean. Mongoose, yeah, that's it.
And wrestling fans, we're going to keep you up to date here. Joe's Hardcore Wrestling, the Hardcore Wrestling Federation, coming August 25th. That's a Friday. The American League host number 311, Seekonk, Massachusetts.
No bamboo sticks, right?
No bamboo sticks.
Thank you, thank you.
But you do have a mystery opponent.
Mystery opponent?
Now, if you remember this is the co-host match.
Who could you possibly get?
It's not me. It's the Mart.
Schoolyard buddies, huh?
Whomever the Marto man picks.
Oh, one of his schoolyard buddies, even worse. Hey, how about his grandmother, huh? She get that little cane going for her, huh? Maybe she bring a wheelchair, electric wheelchair. Oh, boy, we'll have an electric wheelchair match. I love electric wheelchairs, man. We'll just go around. Who could he possibly get? I mean, Joe, come on. Who could he possibly get?
It could be anybody. It could.
Anybody? Who does he know? He doesn't know anybody.
I don't know.
You don't know anybody. I know people because I'm Derek Destiny, but that's
anyways, remember that Friday, August 25th, the American Legion post number 311, Seekonk, Massachusetts. It's Wrestle Riot 2000. The co-host match on the line. Derek Destiny, old school Derek Destiny, goes one-on-one with a mystery opponent. Who could it be?
Sticks. I can't believe bamboo sticks. I'm out of here. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. I'm out of here.
Injuries, God, you know, I never had injuries in the wrestling business. You know, maybe I've been lucky. I do consider myself a bit lucky. But, you know, I have been hurt in the ring. I've been stiffed a couple times. Never got an injury. Nothing that ever sidelined me and put me out.
Tuesday through Sunday night, Derek Destiny. And some people may claim that they're the whole effing show. But after Monday, I am the whole rest of the week. And don't forget, don't forget, watch Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Show. It kicks a lot of ass. And of course, they have the best stars, including Mr. Tuesday through Sunday night, Derek Destiny.
God, I've traveled to Canada, Vermont, Guam, Taiwan, all points in between, man. Rhode Island, all over Massachusetts. Been to Arabia. My good friend Gulamu Gisabura got me a show down there. And Australia with Leon Happiness. And he got me a show, a date down there. These guys, they're crazy, man. In the back, they're laughing. But really, Leon Happiness, a good friend of mine.
Welcome back to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show. I'm your host, Hardcore Joe. Here with Derek Destiny, the king of old school right here. And Derek, great match this evening with Robbie Ellis.
Thank you very much, Joe. Of course, it was a great match because I was in it. Hey, I love you, Joe. You know I love you. I know I love you. Yeah, big victory here tonight over Robbie Ellis. And hey, say what you will about him, but he is a true veteran in the sport of wrestling. And I was able to hang tough, to stay tough, and keep alive. And what happened? I came out on top, as usual, Joe.
Big show, independent show, March 10th, Friday, March 10th, coming up. What are your comments on that?
Kings of old school, baby. Me and brutal Bob Evans against the American Eagle, Shane Simons, and Mark Thunder. And, of course, Kings of old school. I mean, who can top that, huh, Joe? Huh, Joe? That's an awesome combination. If ever there was a combination. And what's going to happen? You know what the result's going to be? No, you don't know. Of course you know.
Of course, Shane Simons and Mark Thunder are going to win. I know. But
that's enough from you, pal. Kings of old school. Well, there's only one thing I would say about us. We rock.
And we were just in the studio not too long ago. The Marto Man did not show up.
Which means, who is your new co-host? Thank you very much. It's me. Yep. Derek Destiny.
Here we are, the first ever show for the IIW, the double IW here in Central Falls. Big Battle Royal coming up. Are you a participant?
Of course I am. I'm Derek Destiny. Of course. there's a match, I'm in it.
And what are your chances in this Battle Royal tonight?
Need you ask, Joe. Derek Destiny is going to be with a lot of big guys. Well, big as far as size goes and weight goes. I don't know. I'm going to win. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Joe's Hardcore Wrestling will be taping the Battle Royal. Who knows who could show up in this Battle Royal? Wrestling fans will see you at the matches.
There's a man called Eric Sprazier who had heat with me at a certain show. But, you know, yeah, we work things out, and he's okay. And he's not wrestling anymore. And, you know, Knuckles Nelson, I think he might have had a little backstage something with me. But, you know, hey, man, anything can be worked out and talked out in the wrestling business, you know, because we're all brothers here, man. We're all friends. We're all brothers. And once you understand that we're all brothers, man, everything's going to work out well. And the locker room would be a really cool place to hang out.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, the #1 wrestling talk show in New England. I'm your host, Hardcore Joe Bruin, here with none other than, you all know him, Derek Destiny.
What's going on, Joe? How you doing there tonight?
Doing good.
Good, good. So when did you get started in this profession?
I'm the one supposed to be asking the questions. Come on,
ask the questions.
All right, well, here we are, a new organization. Just starting up today. Why don't you tell us what your future plans are, what you want to do with this organization, and what your plans are here tonight?
Well, tonight it's myself and Dan Hawk against the Millennium Killers, and we plan on stopping all the momentum that the Killers have been having around this area. They've been beating this team, that team, that team. They've been there, and everywhere. But tonight, myself and Dan Hawk are going to do something that no other team's been able to do. Beat the Millennium Killers 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the squared circle. Now, what do you think about that, Joey?
I think that's a definite possibility. As you see the chairs being set up for later on tonight, your fans will be filling these chairs. Just in a...
My fans, right, Joe?
Absolutely. Just in a few hours, these seats will be jam-packed. Great show here. First ever organization. And a lot of big plans going on for tonight. Wrestling fans, remember, Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, 8:30 on the Rhode Island Statewide Interconnect Channel A. And, of course, East Providence area, check your local listings. Derek Destiny, we will see you at the matches.
You bet. Take care, all my fans out there. Come see me at the matches, baby, because I'm going to rock your world. Woo! Well, I'm sorry with the who. You know, I'm sorry. Joe made me say that. It was him. It was him. He made me say that.
Titles held, man. I have held the UCW tag team straps and the Green Mountain Wrestling cruiserweight strap for one day, but, you know, still holding that strap meant something. Meant a lot.
Derek Destiny. Some people may claim that they are the whole effing show, but I am the whole effing week. Now, tonight, I'm here at the UCW show, my very first appearance, my initial debut, and I got burned. This guy's extreme. This guy's tough. This guy likes to fly, doing fancy stuff. I can do it too, because I'm the whole effing week. And if you want to know any more about the match, just watch me in action. I'll do what I'm talking in the ring. Later, dudes.
The gimmick I use in the wrestling ring, it's a lot like myself, or else I wouldn't have chosen to go that route, you know. A gimmick for a professional wrestler should tell a story about that, the way that person, you know, really is, and, you know, what their life's like, and what they relate to, and what they believe in. And then you got to boost it up about 5 extra levels to produce for the fans, you know, what you want the fans to get out of what you do, to get into what you do, and to enjoy what you're doing. Man, in the past, I've done the heel, I've done the face. I like doing the heel, though. It's so much fun. I like slapping the little kids, you know. Instead of the hands, just slap their heads and, you know, push them down a little bit. Nah, just kidding. But anyway, the heel is really cool because it fits into more of what I do and what my all-right personality is, you know. I'm a jerk, and I admit it, man. But it's all the beauty of being human, you know. You can be a jerk when you wanna, and you can be cool when you wanna.
been in the business a long time. I started off with Yankee Pro Wrestling. I went to UCW. I worked for NEWA. I worked for GCW. I worked for NWO House of Pain. I worked for Power League Wrestling. I worked for the IWA. I guess I worked for the Hardcore Wrestling Federation too. I might as well add that one. I think that's about it though. There's been a few.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, the #1 wrestling talk show in New England. I am here with IIW.
No, wait a minute, hold on. Are you in every state of New England?
Well, not every state, but I am the best talk show. Everybody knows that.
Go on.
But I am here with Mr. Biggs. He is IIW superstar. Mr. Biggs, any future plans for IIW?
Well, June 16th is a big show for us, and we'll have some fun. And I'm going to challenge Louis Vega for the Cruiserweight title that day. I know it's never been done, but you know what? I want that belt, and you know Mr. Biggs gets what he wants. Or people have profanities, you know that. So we'll make sure that gets done.
And last time we interviewed you, where was that? The new Barton Street Community Center, Central Falls area. We talked about the match coming up, which is Friday, August 25th, as you were scheduled to team up with Dancing Don Juan DeSanto as you go against...
somewhere else. No, my fault, Joe. I wouldn't want to kill you that much, buddy.
As you would go tag team action against the Millennium Killers. That's Muhammad the Butcher and the Italian strongman Gino Martino. Now, the thing is, unfortunately, Dancing Don Juan DeSanto cannot make it, so we have booked...
He's afraid. He's definitely afraid. He doesn't, see, the thing is, people wonder because in this federation, I'm with Millennium Killers. In another federation, I'm against the Millennium Killers. So you gotta ask yourself this question: can you trust me, or can't you trust me? Nobody knows that for sure.
And the other big question is, who will your partner be? We've heard a lot of rumors, but suppose...
How about this? Great match. Mr. Biggs, the Millennium Killers. My partner, Tiny the Terrible. Oh, come on. Tiny the Terrible. WWF superstar, international superstar. It'll be a beautiful thing. Two-time Jerry Springer star, too, I'm telling you, is he available? Is he going to be there?
Well, he will be there, but unfortunately he's not available for that spot. Tiny the Terrible will be the special guest referee in the Robbie Ellis Iceberg rematch. So, unfortunately, Tiny's already booked.
I'll tell you what, Joe Brown, this is what you do. You do your best, you wrestle out me a partner. And maybe I'll give that partner all I can, maybe I won't. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, you wrestle me up a partner, I don't care if it's Donnie Rotten, I don't care if it's Eric Storm, I don't care who it is. It could be Spectre, the Ultimate Jobber. It could be the Fabulous Bariquas. I don't care. And I'll just take it to the max, and maybe, who knows, maybe the Killers will get their hand raised, or maybe Mr. Biggs himself will get his hand raised. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, Mr. Biggs, tonight we are here in Revere, Massachusetts, here at the Wonderland Dog Track. And this is Primal Conflict Wrestling. Now, what are your plans for tonight's action?
Well, see, the Killers, I'm taking the Killers into battle with Fed Damned, Mad Dog, Matt Storm, and Draven. And EOS, Elements of Suicide, Sinner and Onyx. Well, see, at the last NEWA show, Storm and Spectre felt the wrath of the stinky original face, which is also called the Biggs Motivator. So, all I can say is, when the EOS and the Damned get a load of this butt right here, rubbing in their face the way that Jiggle can only do, they'll understand why I am the biggest man in wrestling, why bigger is better.
Well, that may be. And we will have some footage of tonight's action. We will show. Remember to watch Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. And it is on the statewide Rhode Island Interconnect Channel A. Remember that, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. also for the folks.
Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
Absolutely.
I'll have to watch it sometime. I really don't watch your show, so. What can I say?
Anyways, for those fans out there that watch Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show in the East Providence area, you can tune in Thursdays at 6 p.m. in the East Providence area on Public Access Channel 18. Also Fridays at 9 o'clock p.m. on Public Access Channel 18. Wrestling fans, we will see you at the matches.
I've been a pro for about 5 years, I'd say. You know what I mean? For a while there, I didn't consider myself a pro, but now, I think I do. I'm a professional at it. I maintain my professional capabilities as a wrestler, so I'd say about 5 years.
It's Hardcore Joe here, wrestling fans, on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, the #1 wrestling talk show in all of New England. And we are here with IIW, International Independent Wrestling superstar, and superstar of all the independents, Mr. Biggs. He is the man that says bigger is better.
Damn straight. What's going on, Hardcore Joe?
Well, if you wrestling fans tuned in to Ring Wars 99 on public access television in the statewide Interconnect, Rhode Island, you saw the match between Mr. Biggs as he teamed up with the Trouble Man, Mr. Montero, Mark Thunder, in a six-man tag team action as they took on Thrash and Draven, the Outcasts, and HCRC. Your comments on that contest just about a year ago.
Well, like usual, Mr. Biggs came out on top, along with Mr. Troubleman and Mark Thunder. But you know, just for your information, HCRC is now known as my good friend, Luscious Steve Taylor. Yes. So, see, I kind of initiated him that night. I gave him what he needed, and that was a beating. Then he saw the light, basically, and he joined the alliance with Mr. Biggs. That was a good match, and it had good quality, but hey, what can you say? I won, and that's all that's important.
And Biggs, why don't you tell us a little bit about the second show of the Hardcore Wrestling Federation? It was Massachusetts Massacre, which took place March 10th at the American Legion Post, number 311, Seekonk, Massachusetts. The Los Boricuas, I guess you can call them, the fabulous Boricuas. Who was your tag team partner that night? Why don't you tell the fans and tell us a little bit about the match?
My tag team partner is my cousin, Dan Badandi, the All-American. He's currently the #1 contender for the IIW heavyweight title. Anyway, all I know is the fabulous Boricuas were... this is a public access show, right? I have to watch my language, okay. I didn't at that show, Joe, you know that. But anyway, they stink. They are the slime of humanity. They are no good. I would love to get him in the ring again and splash him again and make that white stuff come flying out of his mouth. I don't know what it was, Joe, but it was good. Anyway, again, a win for Mr. Biggs, and that makes it 2-0, for the Hardcore Wrestling Federation. That's all that's important.
And the Hardcore Wrestling Federation is coming to you again, the American Legion Post number 311, Seekonk, Massachusetts, this time Friday, August 25th. And you got a big tag team match as you team up with Don Juan DeSanto as you take on the Millennium Killers, the Trouble Man, Gino Martino, managed by the superstar Butch Petrillo. Your comments on that match and your plans?
Well, see, I've never teamed with Don Juan. It's going to be a first, so that's going to be good. And the problem I'm having is the Millennium Killers. See, we're friends, but we're foes. And throughout Independence, you'll see me with the Millennium Killers, but you know what? It's not going to stop me from taking them to the mat, beating them, and getting my hand raised once again in the Hardcore Wrestling Federation, making me 3-0. Plain and simple. That's it.
And wrestling fans, this is the Hardcore Wrestling Federation, the #1 wrestling federation out there. And also, we will see you at the matches.
The only injury I've had is I was dropped on my neck and when somebody attempted a small package, gave me a stinger, couldn't move for like 30 seconds. But, I thank God, luckily, that I made it out okay and I was able to move my legs and stuff. With the recent injuries like draws and all that, it's really dangerous.
And now, introducing their competition. Ladies and gentlemen.
Backstage heat, only one person. And I hate to name names, that's the thing. But there's this guy, Indian gimmick, his name is Chief something. And we don't see eye to eye, we had problems and all that, but I'm trying to work it out. And anything, as Derek Destiny said earlier, everything can be worked out. Nothing cannot be worked out. We're brothers in this business, and we gotta stay brothers, and we gotta treat each other right, and any heat we have, we gotta settle it. This is a funny story. Actually, obviously I've loved wrestling throughout my whole life, and the Yankee Pro Wrestling was actually running shows at the Taunton Flea Market, and my cousin went up there, and he's joined in. I went to a practice, and 5 years later, here I am. I don't know, Mr. Biggs is a gimmick that I have, and it's not too far off from myself. I'm a big guy. I'm a jerk sometimes, I admit it. You know what I mean? But I also love people too. And the only big difference between the gimmick and my personality is that I'm actually a caring guy. I like people, and I like little kids, even though I say I don't. That's about it. But you have to have your gimmick. It's what you are. If, you know what I mean? If everybody went out there as, you know, my name's Mike James. If everybody went out there as Mike James, no gimmick, no nothing, what's the storyline? And people just ain't gonna like what you have. So you have to have your gimmick. I've wrestled in Vermont, I've wrestled in Maine, I wrestled in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, Maryland. I'm slated to go down to Pennsylvania or Virginia. Wrestling like Fall River, PAL Hall, one of the best places on earth to wrestle. The crowd is there, you know, the arena is just, it reeks of wrestling. It looks like that building was just built for wrestling. And a few other places, there's too many to list. That's right. To me, Mr. Biggs, the biggest man in professional wrestling today. All I can say is today I got a handicap match with the Confederate Kid and everything else. There ain't no problem. In 5 minutes, I'm destroying. Because I am what I say I am. I am the biggest man in wrestling. And you know something else? There's a lot of guys out there that try to say they're bigger than me. You got the Behemoth, you got Gino Martino, you got Mr. Troubleman. Well, you know what? I will put up any amount of money to challenge them to see who is the biggest man in wrestling. Let's get that done, Commissioner of Justice. That's all I have to say. And one more thing. Make sure you watch Joe's Hardcore Wrestling. It's the best show in town. I've been a heel for 5 years, but recently the crowd's been liking me. Even though I go out there, I tell them to shut their mouths, they don't listen. They chant me and all that. So I guess Mr. Biggs is on a face turn. It's surprising, but... Just watching guys like Yokozuna, Andre the Giant, Bam Bam Bigelow, guys like that that all weigh over 400 pounds or close to it, and myself weighing that much. When I was seeing like Bam Bam Bigelow do cartwheels, Yokozuna moving like the way he does, and Andre the Giant, it showed me that if they can do it, so can I. And that really inspired me, then said, you know what, live out your dream and become a professional wrestler.
Wait a minute!